Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mario Picciardo. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about men in society. I think that for a lot of guys out there, one of the things that they really have to watch out for today is Me Too, where you have to be careful even about the who you're around in the workplace. It was a big concern for men that they weren't left alone with women because the women would treat them, or the women could just come out and say, "Oh, when I was alone with Bobby in the break room, he tried to grab me," or something like that. And just that accusation in a Me Too world, you're presumed guilty and have to prove that you're innocent. And even then, the small chance, because we saw this with Kavanaugh, the small chance that anything that you say may not be 100% true uh, is something that you really have to deal with. You can be thrown in jail just because the woman said you did something without her needing to provide a shred of proof or evidence. That's a reality for a lot of men today. And to have to see that, to have to live in a world that really thinks that that is the best way to go, it's no wonder that you see a division coming up between men and women. But the thing is that it's not the division between every woman and every man. I suspect that it's actually kind of just the fact that it's getting normalized, that is okay. Because I'm sure that the real number of cases in which this kind of thing happens is dramatic. Just seems like it happens more often, because the only times we do see it are when it's like a big story in the news or it's in the newspaper, and it's like the thing that they talk about when they talk about the airplanes crashing. Like, if you're in an airplane, what are the odds you're going to crash? And they say that statistically, you're much more likely to get struck by lightning than you are to be in a plane that crashes. And, seeing all those movies, especially after 9/11, people think that, oh, no, like that you feel like it's a lot higher, but it's really not. Now, I'm not saying that sexual assaults and stuff like that doesn't happen as frequently that doesn't happen often. All I'm trying to say is that when it comes to Me Too, the chances of someone like saying that you did something when you really didn't happen are probably a lot lower than we think it is. But I think for men, just knowing that it's a tool that could be used against them, and that the courts would, allow that to stand, that just the allegation to be enough, makes it hard for a lot of men to kind of look at women from the lens of, this is worth pursuing. It's worth pursuing a relationship with a woman. A lot of men look at that and say it's not. And it's not because of Me Too. And so when women look at men and they say, "Oh, well, where have all the men gone? Where are all the real men gone that I can build a relationship with, that I can build a family with?" Well, you told them to be women. Because you don't want them to be assertive, you don't want them to be strong. You want them to cater to you, to be the nice guy. But really what you want is for the man to be aggressive, to be masculine, to be strong. But you told him that masculinity is bad. It's toxic. So men are stuck in this position where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, and they can't make it either way because of that thing that was set up there, that kind of dichotomy that they have now. And when you set up a society that way, where it's like, well, it's either one way or the other, well, you just can't win. And so you have a lot of men who end up going into, Me Too, and they kind of, or a lot of men who end up going into MGTOW, a lot of men who decide to walk away. And like I said before, I can't blame them because that's what society's done. But where does a man go from here? Where does a man go post, realizing all of these things? And I have to harken back to, why was a man originally created? The man was created because to be not why he was created originally in the garden, but what's a man's purpose within the family? To defend. He's meant to be the person he's the warrior. In the same way that the wife is the caretaker. She's a relationship builder. He's a fighter. He's a gatherer. He's a producer. And he's the protector, and she's the fosterer, the nurturer. And so what is a man's role in society? It's to fight. It's to fight. It's to be in the conflict that no one else wants to be in. His job is to make the world a better, safer place. And a part of that means that men stand up against these things. I was reading Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. One of the things that he talks about is that democracy dies when the citizens choose to not get involved, when the normal everyday citizen does not choose to sacrifice in his own life to maintain order, to maintain the democracy. When they step out, the tyranny comes in. All of these bad things we don't want in our societies. Well, if we don't sacrifice so that they don't come into our societies, and it's a sacrifice. It's not a one and done thing. It's not like a purchase on Amazon. We have to keep going back. We have to keep sacrificing to take these positions in city councils, a representative, being a representative for Congress or, state governor, things like that. We have to make sacrifices. We have to choose to make sacrifices to serve for the best interest of our communities. And if we don't, we lose it. And a part of a man's job, look at how bad things have gone, where the criminal justice system is so heavily weighed against men. And the whole shtick is, well, why did we let this happen? Because ultimately, it's our fault as a society, not just men, but particularly because we are men. We've allowed this to happen. Our ancestors have allowed this to happen. Our parents and grandparents and our community members in some way have failed us. And so the people that have these positions right now are incompetent. They're idealists towards the socialist side. They don't understand how or they don't care. They're just completely apathetic to the plights of so many men. And the only way we're going to change that is if we as men, turn around and say, I don't want to have to lose my children. Or if you have lost your children, you say, oh, you know what? I don't want another man to have to lose his children because I know what that's like. I don't want to be in a relationship and have my wife, just take half of my money, or me being forced to have to pay alimony, or me being forced to have to pay child support for a child that's not even my child. Because that's happened. But it's happened because we've let it happen. As men and women who are watching this, a woman has a part to play as well. Because, and particularly today, because women have so much more political power than they did before, even financially. And so, I turn to women and say, do you want this to happen to your husband? And even if you didn't care, do you want to live in a society where half of every relationship is crippled? Because again, half of a family is the man. And if you want to eventually be with a strong man, You want to create a society that encourages men to be strong. And I'll tell you right now, regardless what a woman says, a woman generally wants a man who is strong, who is confident, who is, who's a little funny. She wants a man who's going to be a man, who's going to take care of the work when things get tough, who's going to be able to take care of her, who's going to be able to handle things, who's going to be able to tell her when she needs to, shut her yap because she's annoying him. She wants someone to challenge her. She wants someone who's at least her equal. She wants that kind of stimulation, and so does the man. But you can't have that when you neuter men and you hang all of these things above them. And you say, if you do this, then I'll take the children, then I'll do this. That plays on it. The man cannot be your strong savior when all of these things are weighing over his head. And you both lose. You don't get the man that you wanted, the strong, tough man that you wanted. And men don't win either because they get to be in relationships that are unsatisfying. And that's why the divorce rate explodes. We've completely destabilized what a Christian Judeo value system is in America by something just like the criminal justice system. And so if we want to go back and kind of reintroduce traditionalism back into society, then we need to say, what can we do about it? And ultimately, it always comes down to us, you and me and your buddy and your partner and your spouse and so on and so forth. Each doing our own part to change our communities, to change our laws, to inform our representatives, to let them know. Because again, this is a democracy. Our issues are based on our laws. In this case, with men, socially. Now, part of it is also the influence of the media and the stories that the media tells us about men, about Me Too. Now, what we're starting to see today is that the mainstream media is dying. People are going to alternative news sources. Cable news is losing. Things are going the way of Netflix. Things are going the way of original video on demand. Things like HBO or Hulu. Disney's going to launch its own media streaming platform. That's where things are going. People are going to YouTube now to watch their entertainment. They're going on social media and seeing what videos are up on YouTube, on Facebook. They're looking at interacting with people there, Instagram or Snapchat stories. The traditional form of TV entertainment or programming is gone. Those days are on their way out. And so, a part of where we are is because of the media. And, so much of the media is biased towards leftist ideology, for example. And that's certainly not helping our communities. I will be one of the first to admit it's terrible. It's actually really bad. It encourages, sinful life, and it corrupts the minds of young people. Absolutely. But we have to do what we can. And so there are some changes to be made. But the reason I harp on this is because it starts with the man. Because, again, men originally are meant to be the warriors. They're the protectors, but they're also, they thrive on conflict. Men thrive on having a battle to fight, having something to fight for. And if you feel like you haven't had that, like you haven't had a purpose, this can be your purpose. And it's a damn good one worth fighting for. The reestablishment of the family, the American family, the British family, the Australian family, the wherever you're from. Away from this kind of, dogma that we see. And so the question is, okay, how do we do that? You stand up for it. If you see, this kind of thing happening, you say something, or you contact your congressman. What can men do about this fight? Well, look at where the fight's being waged. If it's being waged in the social justice system, what can we do about it? Let's talk to our judges. Let's talk to our the leaders in the criminal justice system. Let's talk to our congressmen. Let's talk to anybody that we can, anybody we can get in front of, write letters, call people. The form of warfare has changed, right? In the 21st century, get behind a mic, start a podcast. You don't need a fancy microphone or a fancy camera. I'm recording this off of a webcam, $50, $60 webcam. It doesn't cost too much. You get a little microphone, you get the webcam, that's it. You can just record, just upload it. If men want things to change, we have to be more involved in our democracies. Men and women too, but the issues are only going to get worse. The left is encouraging broken families. That's why they're happy that the social justice system is the way that it is. They're very happy. They want more single mothers. They understand that increases, that explodes the crime rate amongst youth. It makes them dependent on the state. That's what they want. They want more state power. They want to ensure that's why they want open borders. They want to make sure that no matter what happens, they're always going to have the power. Whatever the cost is, they don't care how bad it'll be for the nation if they're in charge. And so, if men are going to come back, if they're going to have an impact, and I say all those things, but there's a lot for men, it means, and this is hard, it means fighting social stigmas. If someone, and this is hard, and I totally understand it. If a woman's in trouble, you don't want to help her because there's a real chance you could get thrown in prison. She could take things the wrong way. She could say something the wrong way. Someone watching could say something. And that could be it for you. And you could be in jail. And so even talking to you now, I can't even say that you should go do those things because it has serious ramifications for you. And I was reading an article the other day, men actually don't feel safe helping a person in need if they're a child or if they're a woman. Because they're afraid that if it's the kid, someone's going to think that they're creepy or that they were trying to do something or that they were trying to kidnap the kid. And if it's a woman, people are afraid that they're going to say that you tried to, do some weird stuff to her. And so all I know that we can do is look at the legislation, talk to our congressmen, organize, protest. Our society needs men. It needs men now more than ever, and the cards are stacked against us, but that's precisely why we need to act. If we do nothing and we stay in the sideline, I guarantee you things will continue to get worse. And you don't even have to do a lot. You can just share. You could even just share this video. You could even just like the video, comment on the video. Because I say this in a lot of the videos that I make, even the smallest amount of engagement, just watching this video, helps, the YouTube algorithm to know, okay, this is a good video, we should share it, we should put it in front of more people. It has a high watch time. Because any kind of, engagement does that. But until, we all kind of get more involved, we're not going to see any more change. Men have a lot of issues. Men are having a lot of issues that people don't necessarily realize. There are no homeless shelters for men. Most homeless people are men. Most people die in wars are men. Men unemployment is really bad. Men need a sense of purpose. A lot of men kind of go home and their wives are making more money than but women don't want to be with men who don't make at least as much money as they do, who don't at least have an equal status. And if you don't, if you're a man who has a lower status than your wife, there's a tendency that she's going to leave you. Because that's just how That's just how how women psychology works. Then a woman is looking to trade up. That's just how women work. That I learned that when I got red pilled. I used to think that, oh, there's just the one soul woman for you, and you find her, and everything's going to be perfect. And then I found out that's not true, and I got red pilled. I got smacked in the face, and I was like, okay, wow, it's not what I thought it was. But if we don't, do it, then so men do have a lot of issues. Men really get raked over the coals by the courts, by the systems. And so then the question is, well, then what do I do? What do I really do? Besides those things that I talked about. And well, I mean, as a man, one of the key things about being a man is engaging in conflict. It means that you don't hold back. You don't pull your punches. It doesn't mean that you're being a bully. It doesn't mean that you take people down that you clearly don't need to take down, in terms of like a verbal disagreement or something like that. But it means that you're honest about what you believe. That if you have a disagreement with someone, it's totally fine for you to disagree. You don't have to be the nice guy. It's about getting rid of the nice guy syndrome, because a lot of guys, myself, I was absolutely one of them. I am to a degree that I'm working on getting away from. But a lot of men kind of don't get their needs met because they feel like they live in a society where being masculine, well, we talked about this, the idea of being masculine is seen as something that's toxic or something that should not be sought after. It's bad. That's literally what we're told. Being a man is bad. Don't be a man. Don't try it. Be more like a woman, be more docile, be more, kind of passive. Don't be so aggressive, they say. But that's the exact essence of what a man is. You look at male suicide rates, they're blowing up because society has actually told men that they're useless. They've actually told men that they're disposable. And now, regardless of how you feel about it, men are 1/2 of the population. They're 1/2. They're 1/2 of every family, of every parent. 1/2, 50%. And so, if you want to live in a society where you think that that's okay to say that, then you're going to live in a society where you lose. You're always going to lose because your partner's always going to be a loser. They're always going to be someone who doesn't make it. So do you want that for yourself? Do you want that for your family? Do you want to live in that kind of a society where you're going to fail or you're at a heavy disadvantage? I wouldn't. I know most women want a man that they feel that they can rely on because they want to know that they can just be themselves and they don't have to worry about all this stuff. They want to be able to release all of that kind of worry and let the man take care of it as a man does. They'd much rather have a society like that than to kind of displace every man that they know. And so there's a lot of disagreement, but you don't step away from it. You step into it. That's part of what it means to be a man. Look, being a man, what does it mean? It means sticking by the things that you say. It means not losing your cool in the face of life's difficulties. Things get hard. You don't just kind of buckle. Now, people buckle from time to time. Things get hard. That's fine. It means being a man means figuring it out, being willing to figure it out. Being a man means there's something, you're assertive to the things that you want or the things that you desire. From a Christian perspective, you desire to follow God, and so you're assertive about that. You're not going to just lay back and roll over, be passive when it comes to serving the Lord. But that's a lot of what masculinity is. It's about the fight. It's about defending the people that matter. You find your purpose in that, teaching the younger generation, helping the younger generation build themselves up. It means standing up. Listen, a woman in a romantic relationship, a woman wants you to call her out on her BS. She doesn't want you to agree with everything she says. A woman wants you to be, there to be able to fight her off. She does something stupid, you say it. But you don't lose your cool. I mean, you're still in your center. But no woman wants a yes man. She wants to be led, contrary to political correctness. So there's a lot of kind of differences between what we're told to believe and what's actually true. Things used to be very different. And I think that a part of the reason why, we see such a big disparity is because women are doing so much better than men, because society is encouraging women to do better than men. So I think men kind of, it's understandable. I mean, what role models are there for men today? What characters can men kind of point to and say, oh, that's a man, that's the standard I want to hit? I can point to this guy and say, yeah, him. You're not going to find that in the media today. You can see some of that in old movies. I mean, you go back and you watch some of those old movies like Cary Grant in, what was that movie? I'm blanking on the name of it. I'll mention it if it comes back to me. Charade. Cary Grant in Charade. And just notice the way he kind of interacts with Audrey Hepburn. I mean, the guy, he has that kind of old school where Audrey's kind of like, she's looking for someone to protect her and kind of like help look after her. And Cary Grant's that. And he comes through as the charismatic guy who's there and who's able to, do the job. But even just look at the banter between them, and it kind of gives you a glimpse into what masculinity was, into what masculinity was meant to be, or what it still is. But we've kind of lost as a westernized society because we've told men that who they were isn't okay. But if we go back to that, I mean, that is more in the direction of the kind of where we're trying to get to from a masculine form. And so for men, as a result of society, they kind of have a lot of internal kind of issues that need to be worked out because society has told them that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. Or they've had situations in their life that have, blossomed insecurities. Maybe they've been told that we're good enough. They see all these like perfect guys or whatever, and they kind of feel insecure about a lot of things. They don't feel like they're capable or worth or able to kind of interact with women in certain ways because of their previous experiences or because of what they feel the standard is, and that they're not meeting it. And so one kind of technique that I've learned about to deal with it, to deal with kind of the insecurities, to deal with kind of the issues that a man will face on his track to kind of become sort of a better kind of version of himself, is to kind of so usually what happens is that when you feel issues within your body, you feel tension, you feel nervousness, you feel any of these kinds of emotions, they usually come up because, your body has learned to react to situations in a certain way. Those situations cause you stress because your body kind of looks at them in a fearful way. Like your body doesn't feel like it's good enough to be able to respond and to deal with an issue. And so what happens is, let's say, for example, I'm in front of a pretty girl, and I don't feel like I can talk to her because I'm scared. My arm starts shaking a little bit, and, it gets uncomfortable for me. I don't know what to say. And a part of that's because I'm needy, because I want acceptance, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to get it. And because I'm afraid that I might not get acceptance from this woman, I don't really know how to respond. I don't really know how to act. I don't know who to be. And that's part of the problem, is that I feel like I'm not good enough, that I feel like I need to kind of get approval. I need to know that I'm good enough, because in my head, I'm thinking, this is going to go wrong. She's not going to like me. What do I say? When do I say it? And all of these ideas are flowing through my head, and I don't know what to do. Well, you kind of take a deep breath, try to relax, but you just feel into it. You feel into those emotions. Think about what it's like to be with a beautiful woman, to be talking to a beautiful woman, and kind of let your body show you what those feelings are like. What does that feel like? What does that evoke in my body? And where do I feel the tension, if I feel any tension at all? Because usually when we have a kind of issue where we get nervous, or we feel like there's something we can't necessarily do, that it's because there's some kind of tension within our bodies that we need to release somehow, because of insecurities or whatever the reason is. And there's a process to that, and there's a process we could go through. So we feel where in the body we feel that kind of tension. And so for me, I would usually feel it like in my stomach area. And so I allow myself to sit in that feeling, to just let myself feel that. Let it like kind of just let it sit there, let it be there. But accept that it's there. That's one of the steps. Accept that it's there. You let it sit there. You're accepting that it's there. And then you ask yourself, can I let this go? Can I allow this to kind of leave my body? Can I accept that this is here and allow it to leave? And when you do that, you're really telling your body, you're training your body to let go of this issue. You're telling your body, it's okay that I feel this way. I accept that feeling. I'm totally fine with it. I'm okay with it. I'm going to let this go. And you kind of just allow yourself to be in that state. Because a lot of it is about being. It's about who you're being or who you can be. So you kind of just let yourself exist in that moment. Take a couple deep breaths. Allow yourself to be totally fine with whatever happens. Just let it be. And you're okay with it, and you accept the issue, whatever the issue is, and you let it go. And so what that'll do is it kind of lets go of a little bit of the tension. And so the next time you step into it, there's a little bit less. And then you do it again, it's a little bit less, a little bit less. And you start to become more grounded as a man or as a woman. Women can practice this too for certain. And it's not just about kind of it's not just between men and women. It's for really anything that you kind of feel insecure or you feel tension about in general. You feel stress about in general. And you kind of go through this process because all you're really trying to do is release the stress from within your body. Because when you think about your nervous system, it gets blocked by all of the stress. When you release the stress, you're able to feel into your body more. You're able to feel your emotions more. And you're able to become de-stuffed or de-blocked, and that'll allow you to even be a better communicator. You get to be someone who can kind of really share what you mean, share your thoughts, share your ideas without, being held back by these emotional blocks. And so once men kind of, and women or whoever, you start to release a lot of these blocks. You kind of start to get into more of a zone where it's like, okay, I feel more like myself. I can listen to my body. I can feel all the things that my body's trying to tell me. And it's just a way to deal with a lot of that kind of those kind of internal issues that we all have. But then for men specifically, being able to kind of deal with a lot of the challenges that life has, things can get hard, and things are always going to be hard, and there's always issues that men have to deal with, but women too. It's not just about men. But if I were to leave men with one, thing, I would say try that, and certainly try not to find yourself alone or by yourself, because I think men now more than ever need help. We need each other. It's not enough for a man to kind of be with a woman or even, kind of just live his own life. He needs companions. He needs compatriots. And in a society with so many technological advancements, it becomes harder and harder for men to build those relationships with other men because, well, the man doesn't even know how to meet the other men. And then, let's say two men get together, they have an argument. It's a lot easier for men to kind of just disregard the relationship altogether because of the nature of technology. The pleasure you can get just from entertainment. It almost becomes that you don't even need to talk to people. You can just be totally fine on your own. And that's a scary thought because people do need other people. And so to kind of lose that kind of, bond between people is very kind of destructive, because when you think about yourself as a man, who are you without relation to other people to kind of see yourself? Because we only really know ourselves in relation to others. So that's all we have here for today, guys. If you guys like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if this is helpful for you. Maybe we'll change the format a little bit. But let me know what your honest thoughts are, especially if you made it this far. If you watched the whole thing, let me know. Did you find this helpful? Do you think we should change the format? Let me know. Be honest. Let me know what you think. But yeah, so any kind of engagement we have, guys, any kind of comments or anything like that, any kind of, you like the video, share the video. Hopefully it helps more people. It helps as many people as we can help. And it also helps to get the message out there to other people as well, saying, hey, YouTube's looking at this video and say, okay, this video is getting a lot of traction. Let's share it with more people. It's doing well. It's got engagement. People are commenting. People are, kind of all that jazz. But yeah, just let me know. I'd be super excited to see what you guys think. Give me all the good, especially all the bad. Give me all the bad. And yeah, so see you guys in the next one. Everybody take it easy. See you later. Peace.